All right, it looks like it's working. So I'll get started. Hello, everyone. Welcome to, I think this is the third Flutter meeting this semester for DSC FIU. And hype. And today what we'll be covering is basically material design and Flutter. For those who aren't familiar with material design, it's basically like a sort of design language created by Google to allow for pretty much beautiful like UI, transitions, sort of structures, etc. So today I'll be covering just pretty much the basics and where to find information, right, on creating sort of like this beautiful UI for your Flutter project, especially with the solutions challenge going on right now, where a lot of teams, they want to basically have access to as many devices as possible, right, to reach a bigger target audience. So if you focus on just Android, you'll hit Android, but you'll be missing maybe like iOS. So with Flutter, you'll be covering all that from a single code base. So what I wanted to sort of show you and start off by showing you is the material design webpage. And this will sort of go, what was that, Clement?
Oh, sorry. You're good.
Don't worry, this is recorded in history for you.
Oh, God. I goofed.
So if you miss anything, we could always go back. No, it's all good. But let me go ahead and share this screen real quick. All right. Can you guys see this?
Yes, sir.
Perfect. So this is the material design webpage. And this is sort of like the page where you could find all the information regarding material design, components, icons, layouts, all these different sort of structures and what really makes material design what it is, right? So if you go over to guidelines, you'll be able to see like different sort of articles. On the left, you see layout. I don't know if it's too small for you guys, but you have layout principles, right? Responsive layout, all that good stuff. The only thing I wanted to hit before we sort of got started on creating like a bare bones project is to go over color. So right here under, and I'll post these links into the Flutter chat, but under the color system and material design, you'll find basically different color principles and stuff like that. But all the way at the bottom, if we scroll down, you'll see like a lot of different color palettes that have been provided. And the reason I reference this is because in Flutter, when you're mentioning like colors and stuff like that, you can actually reference these different values. So let's say you wanted this specific red, you don't have to type in the whole code. You could just type in red and then 900 and a bracket, right? So we'll be referencing this maybe when changing different colors for the text, maybe background colors, etc. So this is a super cool webpage to use as a reference. And what we're gonna do is actually, let me see if I could stop sharing here and switch on over to Android Studio. So let me see if I could open that up.
Aldo.
Yes.
What's your favorite widget?
My favorite widget? Everything. Everything's a widget. So I don't know. I guess what I've been using a lot more recently in like projects is like the add bars, bottom navigation bars, all that stuff. So I just like, a lot of responsive widgets, I guess you could say. What about you?
Nice.
See, I put you on the spot there.
Maybe a center widget.
Which one?
Maybe a center widget.
The center widget? Okay. Cool.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just it's so nice when you don't have to constrain things like one by one, right? I don't know. I think that's kind of magical.
No, that's true. It definitely what were you gonna say, Azar?
Sorry, I was just gonna ask, what is the center widget?
Yeah, so the center widget, and I'll go ahead and show it in a second. But the center widget is essentially a widget used to pretty much center both width and height. Another widget essentially. So if you have like an image, for example, you could center it to whatever whatever widget it's inside of, right? So let's say if we have an application and we have like the main body of the application and you have an image, usually if you just put an image in that body, it'll sort of show all the way on top. But if you use center and then you sort of wrap the image inside that center widget, it'll align itself essentially to the center of the app. If that makes sense.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Cool.
Awesome.
All right. So yeah, let me see if I could sort of open this up here with the emulator. And I had already sort of played out a little project, but what I'll do is I'll go over everything one by one. And so we'll start like this. See if I can share. And you guys let me know if you see my screen.
Perfect. Oh,
Cool. That's what we're gonna be making today.
Who is this? Oh, yo.
And I kept it. If you guys are familiar with the iEnrich app, I don't know if you are or not. But, I had to put the boy Azar in the middle because we have a 7-figure Java developer in the room. All right. So let me make the text bigger for you guys. I know it's kind of small right now.
Wow. Hey Azar.
Yo.
What's your favorite Java object?
Favorite object? I would have to say the object class. Probably the best object. Parent of all objects, right? You can't get better than that.
That sounds like
Whoa,
a pop
look
out
at this
to me.
Azar picture, man. Oh my
This is what
god.
happens when this is what happens after you receive your first Java paycheck, bro.
See if I could.
See that behind him is actually his house.
I just have an open house, bro. I don't have a window. I don't have a roof. Yeah, I mean, I could. It's like a convertible car. Basically.
I mean,
I just call it whenever I want.
I mean, aren't you getting like the glass installed though? To put above?
Yeah. Right now, that
because you want the observatory look.
Of course, yeah. I don't want people to be able to spy on me when they climb.
Is this more readable for you guys, by the way?
Perfect. Yeah.
Yep.
Awesome. Dude.
Yeah, that looks good.
So the body of a Flutter application, and I know it's been sort of like a minute since we did a meeting, but again, just the body of it runs a lot like any other code base. You have your main function, and then anything inside of it will sort of run off of that. Now what we're gonna do here is just some ugly text. So with run app, it'll allow you to sort of run essentially whatever is inside of it. Wait, what am I missing here? Okay, so let's say we want to create a material app. And since we already have the material app package imported. And in here, we wanted to do like a center widget, like Gio mentioned, right? So what we want to do here is sort of, let's say we want to add a text to it. I think this will work. Let me see. Let's do, I think home and then center. Yeah, let's do that. Oops. So home, center, and then I'll explain what this is doing essentially. And then within the center, we're going to add that text, that ugly, maybe a title text we could do maybe. Actually, let me do title out here. Title, yeah. And then we'll do text. Okay, sorry about that. Let me see. pretty sure. Oh, was I missing this up? Yeah. I should have probably prepared this part, but we'll add the text in here. Yeah, I don't.
Sorry, what was the problem?
Yeah, the problem is that, so what I'm trying to do in my material app is add the title, right? So to show the title within the body. And I know that the title, right, it can go in this section right here. The only thing is that I'm having issues popping that text open. So let me see real quick.
Hover over it, see what it says.
Maybe if we do, I'm sorry.
Just hover over it, see what it says.
I kind of did, but it's not a. Yeah, text cannot be assigned to the string parameter, but that's all it takes technically. So what I'll do is, let's try doing something like a, right, like let's do like a home scaffold, and then from here we'll create some sort of body, right? And then within the body we'll have that that text with a center widget. I think this should run it. I don't know. Okay.
So yeah. I think here outside of the body is where you would add the title.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to do within the home, right? The only thing is that I was having issues with that popping up. Like out here, usually you would add the title, but oh wait.
I think I could be wrong, but title in material app might be the title of like the app, which doesn't show on the UI, and then the title, like you want to set the title on the app bar. If that makes sense.
I think you might be right. Yeah. So let's run that. Let's see what happens if we put it in the app bar. So let's go. Let's do an app bar here. Let's set title to a certain text. All right, let's see. Okay, so yeah, it does show on the top. That took a while. Sorry about that, guys. Essentially what this is doing is it's running that material app, and then anything inside the material app will sort of get called, or not get called, but it's like properties to the home, right, of the material app. So in this particular case, we're creating an app bar, which is basically what you see on the top here. And the app bar contains a title with a text, hello world. I know for this particular case, like you could also do like, you could wrap this, right, with a center widget and sort of center that title on the app bar, right? So this is a basic like sort of skeleton of a Flutter application, what it looks like, just with the app bar on the top. What we want to do is let's try to see if we can get some text on the actual body itself. So for the body, and here we'll go out through this code after, but for the body here, what we want to do is this is the home widget, right? And it's taking a scaffold right now. We have the app bar and the app bar end here. And here, what we could do is we can create a body, right, directly. So this would be the body, the white space over here underneath the app bar. And there, within the body, what we could do is possibly set up sort of like we did here. Maybe we could do like a title as well. Let's see if, oh no, it's only an icon title, maybe a text. Yeah, we can do a text box. And we can say hello world here as well. And let's see what that looks like. So you can see the sort of small text on the top left corner here. So essentially what I'm showing is essentially the Flutter application is built up of all these different widgets, right? It's kind of like a web page when you're developing a web page, you have all these different components, different divs that you set up yourself. The only thing is that with Flutter, it makes it sort of easy. I mean, we've only done a couple lines of code here, and we technically have something running. I know that for Android, you would have to set up a lot of different UIs, a lot of different views, etc. Just to give you an example. And I know, well, I'm not familiar with iOS as much, but Gio can probably speak on that. This pretty much makes that process sort of a little bit quicker. Even, if you wanted to sort of look at what is possible, you could sort of select a widget and see what you could do with it, right? You could wrap with a row, add some padding, center it the same way like we did before. So it shows up right here in the center for both height and width. So that's pretty much like a lot of different things that you could do. Now let's get into the actual sort of body, right, of the application that we saw earlier with Azar. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna see how these different components affect what we're doing. So in these sections, we have the material app, we have the home with the scaffold, same way. And then we have background color, right? And let's see what that looks like if we run it. Okay, so let me see here. Maybe we have too many. Yeah, I think that was it. We'll add them as we go. But as you can see here, well, as you can't see here, let's change this to red. Just red. As you can see here, it'll change the entire background, right? The background color for this sort of home or home widget within the scaffold.
Yeah, that's lit.
Yeah, let me see real quick. I think we have somebody in the chat.
Yeah, sorry, that was me. Don't worry about it.
I'm trying to open it up, but I don't know why it doesn't let me.
I don't want to interrupt the recording, but yeah, I was just saying that I'm heading out. But yeah,
no, it's all good. And thank you for helping me solve that little issue there. You have a good one, sir.
Yeah, man. Keep it up. Thank you. Bye.
Alrighty.
See you, bro.
See ya.
Cool. So just to give you a little bit of a throwback, when we first started the meeting, we went over material design and the color system. This is sort of where you would use that material design color palette, right? So if you scroll all the way down, you see all these different colors. I'm gonna ask Clement to pick a color from the audience. Tell me which one you like, sir.
I'm feeling 500.
500 where?
Let's see.
We have deep purple,
indigo 500.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
so what we'll
nice.
do is we'll use this for our app bar, and then for the actual body, we'll use maybe indigo 200. So let's do that. We'll switch on over to this Flutter application here. And what we'll do is we'll go indigo 200.
Bro, I wish Android was this easy.
It's not, right?
Right?
So this is indigo 200. And what we want to do here now is sort of create an app bar, right? Like we did before. So app bar. The app bar, we wanted to sort of, well, let's see if it even pops up. It should. Yeah. So what we want to do with the app bar is let's set a background color first. And Clement picked indigo 500. So we're going to pick indigo 500. And that's pretty much how it works. So you just call this background color widget. You call in colors, and then you just put dot and then the color. Within the brackets, you're going to put the actual value of the color itself. And it's pretty much as simple as that. When we run it, sorry about that. When we run it, it'll look like this. See, that's looking a little better. So what we want to do now is sort of add a title, right? Let's say just a title widget. And then within the title widget, we want just text, have some text. Azar the God is what we're going to set this one up as.
I like that.
As you can see here, at least on the Android device, it's gonna sort of shift it all the way to the left. And this could be sort of wrapped same way with a center widget. And you just set that as a child, right?
Yo, I'm actually getting jealous.
Just by right clicking on whatever it is, whatever it is you want to change, you just right click, show the context, or even on Windows, you could do Alt Enter and that'll show this. And you could set them up differently. This is also a different method of doing that. So if we go back and we have text, we can do or call this center title widget and just set it to true. It's basically like a Boolean value. So it's either true or false. And that should pop the same thing. So this is what we have so far. What I want to do now is sort of add that body, right? So we have the app bar, and the app bar is just going to be the stuff on the top. And we want to add that sort of body. All you have to do is call the body widget. And the body widget right now, let's start it off without having a center. So if we just do this, and let's do like an image widget. Get rid of, this is pretty poorly formatted, but let's see if we can fix it real quick. Bring it all back. Let's bring it all back, boys. So this is the material app, right, that we're running. And here we have an issue, which is...
What issue? I didn't see anything.
Yeah, I didn't see that.
Yeah.
Let's get rid of some things. Okay. So let's see if we can just see where this is lying here. So this is the image. This is the home. All this is going to get shifted forward. We have home with the background color, blah, 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 image here. And then the image has this and here. And then the body is going to have, it ends here actually. No, never mind. Usually you can do this and just right click format with Dart. The only thing is that I don't know why, but my Android, ever since I did the code path or started doing code path, it just doesn't want to run that. So, but this is telling us that we're good with this. Technical difficulties. Hold it. So that's
Is it because of the comma inside of the thing?
It might be. It might be. No, it's not. So usually you have commas inside of widgets to sort of like separate different properties. So you could keep adding properties. What is this showing? Change the bottom, change the key. Okay, so none of that is it. Let's start from here. Let's do it on our own. So we have run app. So it's missing this app bar, and it's also missing the scaffold. So that's what was wrong. Okay. And here, I believe we can see what we're missing here. I expected to find another one. Okay.
Hey, how many are you missing, bro?
Yeah, we're missing a lot. So we're gonna do this. Okay, there we go.
Oh, bro.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a lot. It can get confusing if we don't keep track. And since I had uncommented them like in an unorthodox way, sort of, it was hard to keep track. But it's all good, baby. We out. So
me during the binary search final, bro.
So okay, so let's make sure that this is running. All right, cool, it is. So we want to add that body. Now we have home, and the home contains this sort of app bar, and it'll contain a body now. Cool, okay, now we're talking. So the body's gonna have an image, right? And what we wanna do is we wanna set it up as such. And then within the image widget, we want to do like a network image. So we want to call image and then network image. And what this takes is essentially a string. Now you could also do an asset image, and the asset image will take essentially any asset that you add into your library. Sort of like if you were to drag and drop an image file, you can call it from here, right? So what we want to do in this case is create a network image, because we're going to actually find Azar's image by stalking him on DSC FIU. I think this one's a website. And we're just going to, right click and get that image address.
Oh my God.
So that's pretty much all it takes. This one should populate it up on top since we haven't centered the widget. But this is what it looks like. So far, so good. So it's a very simple application, but you know what? We managed to get an app bar going, which on Android, just from experience, creating an app bar, and ask Clement, it's very difficult. But here, it's very simple. You could even center this again with another center widget, or create its sort of child without you having to write it in. And when you click to run, it'll sort of populate that image in the center. Super, super cool. Another thing I sort of wanted to show was this. So material design, Flutter. If we go here, I believe we can sort of see the components. Yeah. And I'll post this website up on the chat as well. But in flutter.dev, this is basically like the Bible for Flutter. And if we find this sort of material design section, we could actually see everything that could be created with it. So we see what we already visited, which was the app bar. We see bottom navigation bar, which we can create to sort of, create different tabs, right, to navigate from different screens. We have the scaffold, right, that we've used here. We have drawers, which is sort of like that breadcrumb design where you click and it'll populate a menu. We have Kelsey joining us, so let me admit her real quick. So we have all these different components, and the best thing about this flutter.dev site is essentially that you can just sort of browse around and see how stuff is built. So for example, for the app bar, you could actually do a lot more than what we did. We just set up a title, but you could actually have a leading sort of icon. You could have separate actions set up. You could even set up different sections, right? So you have like this top section and this bottom section for the app bar, just within that little bar on top. So that's super cool. You could even set up flexible space to give it space between the icons, etc. If you were to scroll down, every section within this sort of flutter.dev site will have the constructors. So basically what you need, right? The app bar, it takes a widget, and then from there you sort of, can see what else you can build. Here we have an app bar, which takes a widget, the app bar widget. And within here, you can actually see the properties, the different properties that you could add to the app bar itself. We've already done background color, for example. And if you notice here, it'll tell you what it takes. So we have background color, and it takes a color widget. So if we go back up to our application, we could see background color. Okay, we have the color widget here. You can actually click on this as well to see how it's implemented. And how it was actually built, like the actual sort of property, right? Here you can see the different color classes. I mean, you can see within the color class how it can be used, right? So we used it in a way that that goes well with our material design, which is basically colors that, indigo, red, whatever it is. But you could also do it from RGB. Different sort of RGBs, frameworks, etc. And it even takes the actual codes itself. So that's super cool. You can set up different themes, foreground colors. It's pretty much endless. I could go on and on. But this is super important because as you sort of proceed with your solution challenge applications, you're going to want to refer back to this page, depending on whatever you're building. For example, Azar, you spoke earlier about building the sort of application where people could add different, I guess, inputs or different problems that society is facing as a whole, and then sort of tackle it from there in a community perspective. There's a lot of things that could be useful here within a Flutter application. You know, different tabs that you could have if you want to set up some sort of timeline, personalized timeline, maybe a profile tab, etc. Different buttons. You know, there's a lot to do. But this is basically the application. Just to show Kelsey, this is what we built. Very, very small, very, very lightweight, but it has a lot of power. It's a very powerful image right here.
Very powerful, good vibes.
Very powerful image. The one thing I do urge people to do is, if you're not familiar completely with, you know, what we're doing, is just play around with it. Earlier, we ran into an issue where we sort of couldn't figure out why we couldn't get that title text going. You know, but just playing around with it, seeing what it takes, sort of like hovering over, you could sort of see what it expects to have, right, to contain. So you can do a lot with this. The other thing is, and the other thing I wanted to visit, why are you like this? Yeah, I know. The other thing I wanted to visit is sort of like Codelabs, because I feel like those are sort of underrated. There's a lot of useful information from the Codelabs. And I've mentioned it before, but essentially Google has these sort of guided projects that help you come up with, you know, different things that you might find useful for your applications. Write your first Flutter app. You have different UIs with Flutter. The one that I wanted to visit is sort of this material components application. And essentially, it literally tells you, even from just starting the actual project. I believe they have one. Yeah, they have a started project, which I have open here. And I'm going to run it right now to show you what it looks like before you even start touching it. So this one essentially is supposed to just have a little icon, say shrine, and be good to go. So if we see here, the same thing, little icon, shrine. It looks pretty because it uses that sort of material design. But if we head over to main Dart, which is where the project is running from, and we sort of backtrack it, we can actually see what the project is doing. So just to give you a little example, here we have the void main function, which will run everything. We have the run app, and it's basically shooting up this shrine app, right? If we hover over it and we don't know where shrine is coming from, we could see that it comes from the package app.dart, which we have here on the left, and we imported. If we head over to app.dart, we could actually see what shrine app is doing. And it's basically just building the sort of material app that contains a title, right? And we could change that to anything, Azar, the god. It has a home page, which it'll kick off. Oh, it actually doesn't even show the title, does it? Okay, so somewhere else this is being edited. So I'm pretty sure we're gonna have to check the home page. So home page, it lives in home.dart. We head over there. We can see actually that it's building sort of like a scaffold. It's centering whatever is inside of it and saying you did it. The only thing is that right now this application, since it's sort of supposed to be like a guided project, it's not really showing all these different components that it has. But I urge everybody to sort of visit the Codelabs and learn a little more. Honestly, there's a lot that you could do with Flutter, including integrating it with Firebase, which Azar, you are doing, you mentioned.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. But essentially, yeah, all it takes is basically just playing around with it. This Flutter app right here, I know we have a network image just sort of populating there, but we could do a lot more with that. So if we go to this image component, right? If we search image on the top right here, actually, if we hit up app bar and then we search image, we can see different, the widget, the class, etc. for Dart. And it'll actually show you what you can do with it, right? You have all these different images from maybe a file, maybe from memory, the asset one that I showed earlier. And then if you scroll down, you can see these different sort of properties, right? How you want to align the image. If not null, then what color is blended with the image, essentially. A lot of different things, even the fit of the actual image itself. If you visit these properties, you can actually see alignments like center, etc. So let's see if we could try something out. And this is not, let's see. So this is with the image. Within the image, we want to set up this sort of alignment. And I don't know why it's scrolled over, but, and then within alignment, we have sort of these different, well, it defaults to center essentially. But if we check out the class, we should be able to see the properties here. Oh no, these are the actual Dart classes. Let me see. Well, let's see what happens if we just write alignment. No. Okay. Yeah, alignment.center. So it would have to be alignment and then dot. If we do bottom center, I believe that should shoot it all the way to the bottom. Let's see what happens. I think it's running off the other one still. So let's run. See if we can close this up. Oh, it's here. All right, so let's run that again. All right, so it threw some sort of exception down here. Okay, so it refused the the network connection for some reason. So let's uninstall that app real quick and see if we could rebuild it and see what happens. This one is, yeah, Flutter app. So let's go ahead and build it again.
Although, tell
Yes.
me why those Codelabs have better explanations than our code path. So much better.
Well, the thing is, with Codelabs, I mean, all of this is sort of like created by Google. So even the Codelabs itself, so they have a lot of resources behind them,
Yeah.
and a lot of, I mean, it's a big company. Even like the smallest feature will have a big team behind it. So yeah, they're super useful. This is not aligning like we want it to, but I'm pretty sure it's my fault. Image within its bounds. Yeah. Well, you get the idea.
Yeah,
now we're gonna spend the entire time here, sort of going over that. But yeah, let's actually go back to this Codelab that we were sort of taking a look at and see what it's going through, right? So I've already sort of had this built out. And this actually, the cool thing about the Codelabs is that it explains everything, right? So it explains what import is doing. It explains what this login page class sort of represents, etc. If you've ever done sort of programming in Java or even using like CSS and stuff like that, this is very familiar. You have a lot of different things like padding, height, etc. that you could do. Oh, actually, let's try this. So we have a size box, and this is, yeah, let's go back to that app and see if we could build it again. Let's see if we can play around with the actual box itself and see what happens. It should be in the login.dart file. So let's see here. All right, so login.dart. So this is so we have the scaffold. We have this sort of safe area, which all it's doing is creating this you know, sort of, I guess like a div, you could say, right? With where you could put content inside of it. And within here, we have this child that's sort of showing like a list view, right? And it's set horizontally. If we actually changed any of this value, of these values, we could actually affect how it looks. So for example, this is setting up the padding for the actual, let's see here. This is the edge insets class. And it's basically the vertical and horizontal aspects of this. So if we change it to, let's say like 40, let's see what changes. So I don't know if you saw that, it's very small, but it sort of pushed these icons a little bit down. So let's do 100 to do a big change, just to see what it looks like. And the reason I didn't do anything there is because we have this sort of box, right? This box, I believe it's sort of restricting the area that we can play with. So let's see if we increase the size of that, what it looks like. Let's do a height of 300 and then maybe drop this down again to 20, see what happens. Okay, so that looked like I didn't do anything there. I don't know if it was just me, but. Okay, there we go. So what I'm seeing here is that we have this child of child within the body area. And it's creating this size box height, right? This is the one that actually affects the size of or the main size of this box with the image and the shrine. So that's basically why this didn't affect anything. So if we were to change this again to 5,000 or 50,000, I wouldn't do anything because I believe it's supposed to be for these to-dos down here or anything else, essentially. Right now, this is just running off of what we have in here so far. So if we were to change this text to text, this one should populate. Yeah, okay. So here we could actually put Azar the God. And then it loads that up, perfect. Let's see what happens if we do what we did before, which was sort of load that network image. Let's see, image. Oh, this is expecting a different widget. Let's see what the column looks like within this sort of in the docs here. So if we search for column, see if it'll even show. Oh, sorry. This is within a list view, within a safe area. So let's see if we could do safe area. Sorry, scaffold. So then here we're gonna have all right. So within here we have the body, which is this widget here, and then the body widget will call this sort of safe area widget, which you could see here. And the safe area, basically what it does is, you know, allows it to add, it's like a div again, allows it to add padding without intrusions. But what we want to search for is what the column is doing. So the column is essentially taking, yeah, it's some sort of vertical array. So if we scroll down and see the properties, we can actually see what it expects from this children's widget. Okay. By the way, so far, have there been any like outstanding questions that you guys have? I know I've been going through like a lot of different topics, but I'm just trying to cover as much as I can.
You're good, dude. I mean, everything's straightforward. Everything's pretty straightforward.
Yeah, it's pretty straightforward. It's just a lot of, if you're not familiar with it, it could be confusing. Even, I mean, as you noticed, it's like you have a lot of different stuff built in. You have a lot of different child widgets, etc. But it's kind of like you have to read, not read, but see where everything sort of falls The good thing is that you have these comments here. These comments down here on the right, they're sort of auto created. So as you create sort of different widgets, it'll show you this to see where it ends, right? So that's pretty cool. For this one specifically, oh, this is the wrong, this one right here. So for this one specifically, what we wanted to do was sort of, before we had this sort of image asset. And I believe here, if we do image.network, we should be able to use that image from before, found here. You know what, let's use somebody else. I'm tired of picking on us. Clement, where are you? Okay, here.
Oh my god. Go straight to me.
All right. So let's throw you under the bus real quick and see what that looks like. Oh my god. It's Clement, the god.
Sorry, I'm sorry. I had to take over. It's all good.
And basically you can do this with any sort of icon, any sort of image. We have some stuff on the chat. Let's see. Clement the god, even worse. We're not gonna change that. Clement is a god in Java. I'll allow it.
Thank you. Thank you.
So let's change this and see what happens to this sort of. So nothing happened within the size box, but I believe this one specifically is affecting sort of, let's see actually. So we have the children, we have the network image, we have size box set to, what was the set I had before? 16. If we set it to 200, let's see if anything changes. Okay, so the size box is essentially accounting for space, I guess, in between since remember the column is sort of like a vertical list. It's accounting for space in between the image and the text. So if we were to bring that back down, it'll sort of, create a smaller box, I guess. There's a lot that we can add to the application, but I believe we're actually at time now. But again, I do recommend that you guys take a look at the sort of Codelabs. I'm going to link this in the description as well as the material design and this color system guide. And what I'll do is I'll create some sort of app based off of what we've already done. So we use an image, yeah, but what I want to do is a little bit further, take it a little bit further. And I'll post the app probably tonight. And I urge you guys to sort of like just clone it and play around with it, right? Add different things to it, maybe change some values. And you don't have to show me the entire application, but show me sort of just an image, right, of what you've edited. So I'll do that just to sort of make it more interactive and help you guys out as well to get started with all your Solutions Challenge applications. Let me see if we have anyone in the chat. Let me see. All good, sir.
Whoa, sorry. That's
pretty much
the course for more than one person. Oh, sorry.
No, you're good. No, I was just gonna conclude the recording here, but yeah, I'll go ahead and post all the links. So I'll see you guys tonight. Let me pause it here. How do I end this?
You're both dead to me.
Okay, there it is.